Welcome to tonight's presentation. Tonight we're going to be looking at impulse control with a focus on emotional eating. So here we go. So the agenda, we're going to look at what impulse control is, what causes impulse control issues, and how are impulse control issues affecting you. And then we're going to look at what we can do to improve our impulse control abilities. We're going to be looking at cognitive behavioural therapy, mindfulness, and I may show some EFT tapping if we have time. And then we're going to be looking at neuroplasticity and hypnosis and how we can increase our neuroplasticity with hypnosis. And then at the end, if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, you can do so. So, impulse control. So, impulse control issues are common for people that grow up in dysfunctional families, and some estimates say that's around 80% of the population. And impulse regulation ranges from over to under control, with healthy personalities falling somewhere in the middle between these two extremes. So ideally, we want a healthy balance between over control and under control. On the one hand, we need to control our impulses and to consider the consequences of acting upon an impulse. Having considered the consequences, we then need to decide how to act accordingly. And we determine whether to allow ourselves to indulge the impulse or whether to inhibit it. The inhibition of certain impulses enables us to behave in ways that are both responsible and socially acceptable. So people with extreme impulse control issues can be pyromaniacs or kleptomaniacs. They may struggle to control their emotions, have violent outbursts, relationship and work issues. And it's estimated that around 10% of people suffer with some kind of impulse control disorder. So with the current lockdown restrictions, many people are suffering with impulse control issues. A lot of people are buying things they don't need online, substance abuse and emotional eating. And even my martial arts teacher said that he's drinking beer every night, which isn't something he usually does. So a Chinese study found that people with higher levels of self-control were more resilient to mental health issues during the pandemic. So, question. Would you say that you over or under control your impulses? Use the chat box to let me know. Under control them? Yep. 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 Yeah, under control is very common. So, emotional eating. So, emotional eating is a common problem. Many people use food to make themselves feel better. And emotional eating can be when we use food to alleviate boredom, to reduce stress and anxiety, to make ourselves feel safe, or to reward ourselves for something. So Emotional eaters often reach for junk food, and they look for sugary treats, takeaways, comforting but unhealthy foods. And chocolate as well is a common thing for people to emotionally eat on. So emotional eating Yep. So does eating, does it make you feel worse, Jazz? So yeah, emotional eating usually makes us feel worse. The original emotional issue remains, but you probably feel guilty for eating too much junk. And regular overeating is going to cause weight gain, which will lead to health issues, appearance issues, feeling uncomfortable about how you appear, and relying on food or other substances to cope with our emotions can stop us connecting with our actual emotions and learning what they're trying to tell us and finding healthier ways to deal with them. So no emotions are bad. You know, we're taught by society that emotions are a bad thing and that we shouldn't feel our emotions. But all emotions are trying to tell you something. So emotions aren't bad. We feel them for a purpose. It's when we try to suppress our emotions that they cause problems. Yep. So another question. What foods do you crave when you're emotional eating? Let me know in the chat box. Type your answers in the chat box. Let me know what foods you like to eat when you're feeling emotional. Okay, so how to tell if you're an emotional eater. So, do you eat when you're not hungry? Do you eat when you're anxious or stressed? Savory or sweet things? Yep. Yep. Excellent. Do you eat until you feel stuffed? Do you eat as a reward? Does eating make you feel safe? Do you feel out of control around food? Yep, you eat until you're stuffed. Snack foods, or like chocolate and crisps and things? So they're the signs that you're emotionally eating. How many of them would apply to you? Let me know in the chat box. Anything quick and easy? Yep. Alcohol. Three on the list. Cool. Okay, so Yeah, you eat. Yep. Okay, so the difference between emotional and real hunger. Cool. So physical hunger comes on gradually. So emotional hunger usually comes on suddenly, whereas physical hunger develops over time. Yep. By deliberately not eating. Physical hunger can wait. So as I said, it builds over time, comes on gradually. With physical hunger, all types of food are going to be appealing. With emotional hunger, it's going to be sweet things such as chocolate and ice cream, you know, crisps and snacks that are going to be appealing. Physical hunger stops when you're satiated. With emotional hunger, you're going to keep eating until you're stuffed. And eating for physical hunger doesn't make you feel guilty afterwards. So the emotional eating cycle. So as you said, you tend to feel worse after you've been emotionally eating. So generally we can have something that triggers us to feel bad, feel sad, feel lonely, and then that creates feelings which make us decide to eat. And then once we've eaten, we get feelings of guilt and shame, feel bad about ourselves. So does that kind of match up to what you experience when you're emotionally eating? Let me know in the chat box. Okay, so using cognitive behavioural therapy to help us with our emotional eating habits. Yes, yep. A lot of guilt, definitely, yep. Okay, so with cognitive behavioural therapy, it works on the basis of systems theory, and systems theory says that if you change one part of the system, you can change all parts of the system. So, shame, yeah. So we can have thoughts that can influence our feelings. Those feelings can influence our behaviours. And those behaviours can influence our physical reactions. But likewise, this can happen the other way around. As we said, with emotional eating, you may be feeling down, which causes you to eat, which causes you to feel stuffed, which then causes you to feel guilty or shame. Yep. Yep. When you're eating it, you know you don't really need it. Yep. So yeah. So by changing the behaviors, we can change the feelings, change the thoughts, and change the physical reactions. So by changing any part of the system, we change the system. So to prove this to you, I'd like to do a little thought experiment. So I'd like you to get a pen and piece of paper if you have one handy. And take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I'd like you to imagine yourself in that situation that you want to change. That impulsive situation, could be emotional eating, could be drinking. Just see yourself there now. Really connect with that version of you. See through that version of you's eyes and feel what you feel. Smoking, Gina, yeah. Okay, so and when you're ready, open your eyes, come back to the present and write down what your thoughts and feelings and behaviours are in that situation. If you want, you can put them in the chat box. Let me know what your thoughts are before smoking. What are your thoughts before smoking, Gina? What feelings and how are you behaving in that situation? Yep. And then once again, I'd like you to take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I'd like you to think about how you'd like to be in that situation. So what would you like to be doing in that situation? So what would you like to be doing in that situation? So it could be instead of eating, you'd like to be reading a book. Instead of smoking, you'd like to be meditating. Yep, knitting works. Yep. So if you were to do that, what are your thoughts when you're knitting? How are you feeling? What are your behaviours in that situation? And then when you're ready, you can come back to the present. And just let me know how those two situations change. Can you see that by changing one part of that process, we can change the entire process? Yep, busy when knitting. Cool. Okay, so feelings come from you. It's important to you eat when you're bored, yep. Yeah, you'd rather be working out, doing yoga, meditating. Yep. Okay, so it's important to know that external events don't cause feelings. They come from you. No one can make you feel an emotion. So an exercise that we can do with CBT would be to write down our core emotions. So they are happy, sad, angry, anxious, and then look for more specific feelings. That's true. Yep. And then look for more specific feelings within these emotions. So, for example, if you're feeling anxious, why are you feeling anxious? Is it that you're scared of something? What's causing the anxious feelings? Yep, that's absolutely true, yeah. Scared of looking good. So why is it you're scared of looking good, Pat? What is it about looking good that scares you? No idea. And then ask yourself, is the feeling appropriate? What's the evidence that the feeling's appropriate? Rate the feeling on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not too bad, 10 being something really, really terrible. Consider what caused the feeling and what increases the feeling, what reduces the feeling. When do you not feel this feeling? So, for example, an example of this would be confidence. Some people say that they're not confident, but everyone is confident at doing something. So when are you confident? Who said that, Pat? So what thoughts relate to the feeling? So that's neuroplasticity. So that's CBT. Yeah, when you're confident, it's because you trust yourself. Yep, you know your stuff. Excellent. Okay, so neuroplasticity and hypnosis. You can't be someone you don't perceive yourself to be, and the emotional part of your brain can't tell the difference between a real or imagined event. So using hypnosis, we can visualize ourselves the way we want to be, and this builds new neural pathways in the brain. And then we can start to associate with ourselves that way. And the more we envisage ourselves that way, the stronger the neural pathways become. So I'd like to do a couple of exercises to show you the power of your mind and the power of visualization. So first exercise, we'll do the sucking an orange exercise. So I'd like you to take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and with your eyes closed, just imagine that you've walked into your kitchen and there on the side is an orange. Just picking that orange up and placing it on a chopping board, safely taking a knife and just cutting a slice out of that orange. And then seeing all the juices running out of that orange, lifting it up towards your mouth, biting down on that orange. Just imagine all the juices running down your cheeks. Then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the present. Let me know if envisaging yourself doing that made you salivate. Let me know in the chat box. Yep. Yep. Excellent. A lot. Cool. Okay. Okay, another exercise we'll do is the balloon book exercise. So I'd like you to take your hands and place your right hand out with your palm facing down, your left hand out with your palm facing up. Take a deep breath in, close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I'd like you to imagine that in your left hand we've placed some heavy books. And to your right hand, we've tied some helium balloons. And that right hand is rising up as the left hand lowers down. Imagine that happening. The right hand rising up as the left hand lowers down. And then leaving your hands where they are, just open your eyes and notice any change that you've noticed there. Let me know if you noticed a lot of change there, let me know in the chat box. A fair bit, 3 or 4 inches, yep. Excellent. Some change. Cool. Yep. Excellent. Cool. Okay, so what I'd like to do is think about that situation where you're emotionally eating and think of some behaviours that you could do to help you reduce that emotional eating. You know, one behaviour would be to wait 5 minutes before you eat. Another would be to drink a glass of water before you eat. Yep. Have a drink of water. Yep. Something else you can do as well is to drink a pint of water like 20 minutes before your mealtime, and then that will reduce the amount that you'll eat when you actually have your dinner. What other things could you do? Maybe go for a walk. Let me know in the chat box what other things you could do to reduce that emotional eating. Play with the dog. Have a sticker on the fridge. Self-soothing gestures. Yep. Brush your teeth. What about smoking, Gina? What could you do when you want to smoke? Gina and Zoe. What things could you do when you think about what you really want for yourself? Yep. Chew gum. Yep. Something else you could do would be breathing exercises. So there's a few different breathing exercises you could do. One's called box breathing, which involves breathing in for the count of 5, holding your breath for the count of 5, breathing out for the count of 5, and then holding the space between breaths for the count of 5. So if you'd like to try that now, breathing in for 5, holding your breath for 5, breathing out for 5, and then holding the space between breaths for 5. Let's try that a couple of times. Let me know in the chat box how you feel after that. Yep, plan your meals properly. You could also try like intermittent fasting, so you don't eat after a certain time. So you don't eat after 6 at night. Yep, menu plan. Excellent. So another breathing exercise we can do is called 7-11 breathing. So before you do the breathing exercises, you want to take what's called box breathing makes you sleepy. Yep, absolutely, Gina. No problem. It's 7:37 now, Gina, so you might be late for it. So yeah, take what's called a SUD score, subjective unit of response. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being really relaxed and 10 being, say, very anxious or very triggered, whatever makes you eat. Take that SUD score and scale it, and then do this box breathing or there's 7-11 breathing. So that involves breathing in for the count of 7, holding your breath for a couple of seconds, and then breathing out for the count of 11. So if you'd like to try that now, just breathing in for 7, and then breathing out for 11. So these are things that you could do, you know, before you eat. So you could have a glass of water. You could do breathing exercises. You could go for a walk. You could plan your meals properly. You could write a menu 3 or 4 days ahead. So you could chew gum when you normally smoke. So these are all things that you could do instead of eating. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that. Let me know in the chat box if you have any other suggestions. That's good. That means you're nice and relaxed. Carrot sticks, yep. Yep, you can eat carrot sticks or celery. Celery is something that you could, keep to snack on. Okay, so now we're going to do some excellent. All right, so now we're going to do some hypnosis. So hypnosis is a deeply, but it's not always a relaxing state. If you've ever been playing a sport and cut yourself, not noticed, kept playing sport, that would be a state of hypnosis, focused state of attention. If you've ever driven somewhere, got to your destination, not remembered the journey, that would be hypnosis. So hypnosis is a focused state of attention. It's not something that's done to you, it's done with your cooperation. It's a perfectly natural state that we all experience several times during the course of a day. If you suffer with epilepsy, it's not recommended that you experience hypnosis. So if you do, then I suggest you don't listen to this hypnosis part of the session. If you don't suffer with epilepsy, make yourselves comfortable. And once you're comfortable, you can allow your eyes to close. Begin to focus on your breathing. Breathing all the way down into your stomach. Notice your stomach rising as you're breathing in, falling as you breathe out. If any thoughts should come into your mind, that's perfectly okay. You can just notice them, allow them to drift by. And in a moment, I'd like you to take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just imagine yourself letting go of any tension, any stresses, strain. Just think about what it's like when you're relaxing. Your body starts to relax, drift deeper and deeper. Maybe you can remember time in the past when you felt completely relaxed, completely at ease. And then once again, I'd like you to take a deep breath in. This time when you breathe in, I'd like you to tense all the muscles in your body. Just tensing all the muscles. As you breathe out, just allow those muscles to relax. Maybe you can picture that relaxation increasing in some way. Just allowing yourself to drift deeper and deeper down. And your conscious mind can drift and dream as your unconscious becomes more alert, more awake. And your conscious mind needn't mind as your unconscious begins to take more and more control. And the unconscious is responsible for all the most powerful things that you do. The unconscious is responsible for your breathing and heartbeat. Maybe you can notice your heartbeat beginning to slow down as your breathing gets deeper. You begin to feel more comfort, more relaxation. Maybe you can imagine that relaxation flowing like a wave all the way down from the top of your head to the very tips of your toes. Allowing yourself to completely, totally let go. And my voice can go with you. My voice can take on the sound of wind, rain, window pane. And at all times, some part of you will be aware and alert, whilst some part of you can just drift, dream. Allow yourself to completely and totally relax, let go. When a person starts to enter a state of hypnosis, they can become aware of things, many things. They may start to notice the eyes moving about beneath the eyelids. They may start to notice tiny muscles, arms, legs, just giving them a little twitch as they really begin to drift all the way down, completely, totally relax. And I'd like you to think about that problem you may have been having, impulses, could be using food to try and control your emotions, smoking, just thinking about yourself in that situation. Now, thinking of ways that you could overcome that old problem. Maybe putting a plan together in mind. If you do that, your unconscious mind can help you sort through all those different choices. Maybe you'll choose to drink a glass of water. Maybe you'll choose to practice some breathing technique. To eat healthier snacks. It's the nature of your unconscious mind to be successful. As a child, you learned to walk. First, you may have fallen down, but you unconsciously knew to keep getting back up. So your unconscious is always successful. Using the power of that unconscious, you can put those solutions into place now. Sorting through all the different options. And drifting up through space, time. Finding yourself in that old situation where you may have given in to your impulses in the past. Just notice what you're doing differently now. What new behaviours working for you in the situation. Then once again drifting up through space and time, drifting off into the future. Maybe a month from now. Having gone a whole month with your impulse control methods working perfectly for you. Allow yourself to really connect with that future version of you. See through their eyes, feel what they feel, hear what they hear. Really connecting with that future version. Maybe you'll have lost weight. Maybe you'll be feeling healthier. How will your appearance change? Really experience that now. And then drifting up out of that version of you, drifting off across that timeline, even further into the future, maybe 6 months from now. Having adopted those new healthier habits for a whole 6 months. Connecting with that future version of you. And it's summertime. What will you be doing differently? What will you be wearing? Maybe people will be complimenting you on your appearance. Really connecting with that version of you. Maybe you can get a sense of those changes taking effect. Maybe you can get a sense of those new neural pathways being created in your brain somehow. Making those new behaviours become stronger and stronger. Maybe you can see a path you took to create this success. Really connecting with that future you, allowing those changes to fully take effect. What will you notice over the coming days and weeks that lets you know those new habits have begun to change, to help you feel healthier, happier? In a moment I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and when I reach the number 5 you can come back to the present, noticing how good you feel. 1. Just allowing the sensations return to your feet and legs. Maybe you'd like to wiggle your toes. 2, allowing your awareness to drift up your body. 3, down your arms and into your hands. Over the coming days and weeks, you can become aware that things have begun to change, that you have begun to change. 4, and after 4 comes 5, and you can open your eyes and come back to the present, noticing how good you feel. Maybe you like to stretch and yawn. Let me know in the chat box if you enjoyed that. Thank you, Pat. Simple. Excellent. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Zoe. Okay, so I offer everyone who comes on my workshops a free session with me, no obligation. So if you'd like to take me up on that, you can book a time via the link I just posted in the chat box. Now, I'm going to ask everyone to unmute. So if you'd like to ask me any questions or give me any comments, please unmute yourself and yeah, let me know.
I feel very relaxed, but while I was doing it, my carer was here, so it disturbed me. So it's a bit disappointing with that. I had nothing to, not my fault, but I feel relaxed.
Excellent. Thank you, Angel. Oh, okay. Thanks, Nikki.
I can't stop yawning now. That's my problem. I just want to go to bed.
Excellent.